Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Nafiz Learner Zone. So we were discussing about the holozoic mode of nutrition and the heterotrophic mode. So that is about how an organism takes its food into the body, then break it into smaller particles, and then it will be absorbed to get the energy. That happens in many organisms, many animals does the holozoic mode of nutrition. We studied the example of amoeba in the previous video, and in this video we are going to learn about how does the nutrition takes place inside our body, inside the human being. In fact, that's nothing but the human digestive system. What is digestive system comprises of? The human digestive system contains two major things. One is the alimentary canal, that is right from the mouth until the anus, that is known as alimentary canal. Along with the alimentary canal, we have associated glands. Together it is known as the human digestive system. So what is important from this concept for your exam point of view is that you should understand the function of each part of this digestive system. So let us go through each and every part of this digestive system in details. The first thing, what's the first thing? Where the digestion starts? In the buccal cavity. This is the buccal cavity. You can check out the images also. So here what happens in the buccal cavity is, the buccal cavity comprises of major parts that are tongue, teeth, and salivary gland behind. These are the major parts which help in digestion. Teeth, tongue, and salivary gland. What is the function of these things? You know that. Why do you use teeth? You use teeth to cut the things, to cut into small parts. The larger food particles you can cut into smaller parts by using your teeth. Then what does the tongue do? So tongue helps in mixing up the saliva with the food particle. So that is, while chewing, this teeth, tongue and saliva all together, they work so that the particle size may get reduced, as well as along with that, salivary juice contains an enzyme called as salivary amylase. So what is the function of salivary amylase? That is an important point. The function of salivary amylase is it converts the food particle, that is carbohydrate contain, what we consume is starch, so that starch will be converted into simple carbohydrate, that is maltose. So starch to maltose will be converted in presence of salivary amylase, right? So that is the first thing. Next thing, what happens after, once it passed from the buccal cavity, what is next? The next is a tube-like structure which continues from the buccal cavity up to the stomach, that is called an esophagus. So what is esophagus? It's a tube-like structure completely through which the food passes. The food passes through this. How does it passes? It passes by a movement. What is that movement? That is an important point. The movement is known as peristaltic movement or peristalsis. What is peristalsis? So it the food particles move by contraction, relaxation, contraction, relaxation. It keeps expanding, contracting alternatively, by which the food particle moves. It doesn't move by gravity, something like you may say that the gravity acts in the downward direction, so the food goes. No, if it would have gone due to gravity as a free fall, then you don't have got any use of that food. It wouldn't have got digested as well as absorbed, nothing. So it's important of the peristaltic movement which makes the food properly reaches the next part of the digestive system. Which is the next part of the digestive system? So next is stomach. What happens in stomach? Stomach, you know that the temporary storage of food takes place in the bag-like structure called as stomach. It is very important. There are many questions arises from the part of the stomach. You have to understand what all the things happen there. The very first thing, where the stomach starts, the junction of esophagus and the stomach, that is, there is a sphincter present there. It's something to facilitate the movement of the food from the esophagus to the stomach. You may feel sometimes some burning kind of things, heartburns we call something. You may feel that there is a pain or pricking sensation in the heart. It actually doesn't happen by heart. Many of your elders, parents, or somebody might have told you it happens due to acidity. So what happens, that happens at the junction point of this esophagus and the stomach. There the burning sensation starts. So it's close nearest to the heart, so that is why it will be observed like it's happening in the heart, and it's called as heartburns. It happens due to acidity. How it happens? Let's check. What is the function of the stomach? Stomach has an inner lining of mucus, and it secretes the gastric juice. So gastric juice contains hydrochloric acid. The composition of gastric juice is hydrochloric acid and the mucus. So hydrochloric acid, yeah, right. The hydrochloric acid, which is one of the strongest mineral acids we have, that acid is being secreted inside our stomach. Just imagine the hydrochloric acid of a pH of around 1 to 1.5 will be present in our stomach. That stomach lining will be prevented by the presence of a mucus layer. What is the function of this hydrochloric acid? That is a very important question. What is the function of hydrochloric acid? So hydrochloric acids, there are two major functions. One is it kills the bacteria or some kind of microorganisms which enter along with our food. Those bacteria will be killed. Apart from that, the next thing is it makes the medium acidic. That's important. It makes the medium acidic, means the pH. We have studied in our first chapter in the chemical reaction. Certain reaction takes place in particular pH level. So there are reaction in the stomach. As what reaction takes place in the stomach? Inside the stomach, the digestion of protein begins. So digestion of protein, it starts in stomach. How actually? So there is an enzyme secreted by the gastric juice known as pepsin. So pepsin converts the proteins into polypeptides. Okay, that is inside the stomach. So for pepsin to be acted upon this protein, it requires acidic medium. It requires particular pH. So that pH, that medium, that acidic medium will be provided by the secretion of hydrochloric acid. So that is what is the major function of hydrochloric acid, providing an acidic medium so that pepsin acts on protein and convert into polypeptides. Sometimes what happens, this hydrochloric acid gets secreted excess. You may not have food in proper time, and hydrochloric acid keeps secreting by the inner lining of the stomach. That HCl is not used. Sometimes what happens, this HCl get reflexed. It try to come up to the junction of the esophagus. That time you feel that burning sensation in the stomach, right? That is called as heartburns. Okay, that's not there in syllabus. You may feel sometimes. So yeah, I hope you got an information about that. Fine. That's what happens to the stomach. Remember, in stomach there is an enzyme secreted, that is pepsin. So for pepsin to be acted on maltose to convert to glucose, it need acidic medium. That acidic medium is been provided by hydrochloric acid. That's what stomach. Next is small intestine. So the next part after the stomach continues to a small intestine. It's a very long, around 5 meter plus length of the small intestine. It's too long. So that small intestine, which is coiled completely below your stomach, it's present in the abdominal cavity. So that small intestines is the major part of our digestion, the hot spot of the digestive system, because lot of digestion takes place in small intestine. Small intestine has three parts. The first part, which connects with the stomach and receives the enzyme from two major glands we'll discuss next, that part is called a duodenum. The next continuation part is known as jejunum, and then the final part of that small intestine is called as ileum. So duodenum, jejunum and ileum are the three parts of small intestine, right? So what happens in small intestine? Small intestine itself secretes small intestinal juice. So along the intestinal juice, there are two major glands which are associated with that. Liver, the largest gland of our body is liver. So this liver secretes a juice that is called as bile juice. There is a duct through which it passes, a bile duct. So through duct it passes, so it is an exocrine gland. What do you mean by that? We'll learn it in next chapter. So through the bile duct, the liver secretes bile juice. So bile juice comes to duodenum. Then there is a cream colored gland attached with the stomach, present below the stomach, that secretes, that is pancreas, and pancreas secretes its enzymes by a juice called known as pancreatic juice. This pancreatic juice, intestinal juice, and the bile juice all together come to duodenum part of the small intestine, and there the further digestion takes place. You know that carbohydrate digestion has been completed in stomach. There is no more carbohydrate left. The carbohydrate been converted into glucose already. Now what is left is proteins and fats. So they get converted here. So how? What is the function of all these enzymes? Function of bile juice. So bile juice, it's contrary to hydrochloric acid. There was a question recently in the state board preparatory examination being asked, gastric juice and the bile juice are contradictory to each other, are complementary to each other. Why complementary? It's the opposite of each other. Why? It means what hydrochloric acid does is it makes the acidic medium in stomach, whereas the what acidic medium has been made by gastric juice, that will be made alkaline by the secretion of bile juice. Why does it require? As gastric juice makes the acidic medium to pepsin to be acted on polypeptides, the next protein digestion should be taken place, and that will happen by the enzyme called trypsin, and trypsin required basic medium or alkaline medium to act on polypeptides and convert into peptones or the final amino acids. Second thing, it prevents the intestinal wall to get damaged. This hydrochloric acid which is being secreted in the stomach, when it is flown down, it may harm the small intestine. To prevent from that, the bile juice which is secreted, it contains bicarbonates. Those bicarbonates neutralizes the acid and makes the medium alkaline, so that the trypsin enzyme and lipase enzyme acts on protein and fats respectively and convert it into the final product. So what happens there is, in the small intestine, the pancreatic juice containing pancreatic lipase and trypsin enzyme, so that what it does is trypsin acts on protein and convert the proteins into peptones, then to amino acids. Amino acids are the final product of protein digestion that happens by the action of trypsin enzyme in small intestine. The last thing what is there is fat. This bile juice also helps in, not only it makes the alkalinity, it also helps in emulsification of fats. What it does is, the large globules of fats which are present in the digestive system, that will be emulsified into smaller globules. So that will be converted into smaller particles by the action of the bile juice. Okay, then it will be converted, the fats will be converted by the action of the enzyme lipase into fatty acid and glycerol. The final product of fat digestion is fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, now all the components what we had got digested. The carbohydrate gets converted to glucose, proteins into amino acids, fats into fatty acids and glycerol. So here completes the digestion process. We have taken the food, then it got digested. What happened after digestion? Once the digestion completes, the digested food moves down in the small intestine further from jejunum, ileum. So this, in the small intestine, you might have studied in 7th standard, they are finger-like projections. There are projections which are like fingers. They are known as villi. So villi are present in this on the inner surface of the small intestine, which helps in the next process after digestion, that is known as absorption. So absorption of digested food. Once the food is digested, you know that we have now glucose, amino acids, fatty acids. Okay, so these final products will be absorbed through the villi. How does it absorb? Villi has lot of blood vessels, the capillaries, lot of blood capillaries are present in the villi. So as well as a finger like projection. Why they are finger like projection? That is to increase the surface area of absorption. Suppose if the hand is like this, the surface area will be only this, right? If I expand these fingers, you can check out the surface area is going to increase 5 times of this, right? So that is why the villi are in the shape of fingers, okay, in finger like projections. That is villi. It helps in absorption of food. What is absorption? Just the food which is digested that will get into the blood. You know what, blood should take the food, right? How it takes, that's our next topic. Okay, how it takes. So let's know what is that process, how it takes is the next topic we will discuss. So that after absorption, that has to be supplied to the different parts of the body. That is known as assimilation. Okay, assimilation is a supply of the digested food to the different parts of the body, right? So digestion over, absorption over, assimilation over. So what is left? There is one more part in the digestive system. What does it do? Let us understand. Then the small intestine is connected further to large intestine. That is also known as colon. Okay, so it's colon, and it has 3 parts: one ascending colon, transverse colon, and descending colon. Okay, so this large what is the function of this large intestine? So now after digestion, absorption, everything, what is left? The left is undigested food. We consume lot of food. It can undigested, something like you have some fruits, it may contain some coating or something. You'll have some vegetables, it contains cellulose which will not get digested in our body. Lot of food particles will not get digested, they remain undigested. Such undigested food will be transferred to the large intestine, where what happens, one function what it happens is it absorbs the excess water. If there is still excess of water present in the food, that water will be absorbed by the large intestine if our body requires. Say suppose it's summer season, lot of water loss. I am sweating here while making the video, so lot of water loss will be there, so body has to retain the water. So what happens in such cases, the food which contains water, the undigested food which contains water, that water will be reabsorbed by large intestine. Okay, then what happens, the large intestine has 2 ending. At one end it has appendix, the other end it has rectum. So what is appendix? Appendix is a vestigial organ. It doesn't have a function at present in our body, that is why it is called a vestigial. Vestigial means it is present in our body but it doesn't perform any function. It's something like a pea in the pseudopodia. So like that, it doesn't perform. It has been believed that this appendix used to secrete some enzyme which help in cellulose digestion. When the ancestor of the man used to have raw vegetables, raw plant products to digest, that it used to. But as the lifestyle of the humans has been changed, we started using cooked food. So the appendix is being useless. Now it has not degenerated. Why it's not, all those things that we'll study in evolution. Okay, so next the other end ends up with rectum. Rectum is where the temporary storage of undigested food takes place. By passing off large intestine, the undigested food comes, stores in rectum until the nature calls you for the digestion. So then what happens, the temporarily stored undigested food will be removed out through the last opening of the digestion, that is anus. So this completes the digestion process in human being, right? So that's it for in this video about digestion. In the next topic we are going to learn about respiration. So hope we'll meet in that video. Thank you so much for watching this. Please like, share and subscribe.